Welcome back to the Rabbit's Chair. So, last week there were a lot of different journeys taking place. So, Ed collecting his stuff and me disappearing. This week we'll find out where I went and what I was doing. We'll also head over to the boat and have a look at how Ed's getting on cleaning it up. Yeah, we'll have a look at what else happens. So yeah, let's go. Let's see what happens.
This is Jonny taking videos of hay.
Yeah!
Really makes you say, hey.
Hey! Hey, I see. Hey, I thought you were going to say Alton. Danke. Well, we'll have more from that later. Yeah. Meanwhile, Ed's carved an apple.
So I've been looking for a brass apple for a very long time. I haven't managed to find one yet, but I want it to be able to make a tiller pin for the top of the boat. So what I've decided to do is cut this piece of apple wood from an old apple tree that used to stand here before it died. I'm also going to use this apple wood to make the tiller pin, the tiller itself, which is a wooden pole that extends from a metal tiller shaft. But I'm going to carve this into a little apple shape because it's quite nice to have a piece of home on the boat. So yeah, this little piece of wood will be an apple eventually once I've finished carving it. So I've been carving for a little bit now. It doesn't really look like an apple yet, but it's starting to form into a nice shape. I need to carve this top bit down and this bit down. I might chop a chunk of this off because it's a little bit too long and it might take me forever to carve down into a nice round apple with the shape of it. But while I've been doing this, I've been joined by a little puppy dog. And he's very happy to sit next to me, aren't you, Gelly? Hey. Hey. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Yeah. I'll continue this another day when I've got a bit more time, but it's just something I'm going to slowly do in my free time.
Well, it's good to see him improvise. So yeah, hopefully we'll see the end result sometime soon. Okay, let's go back to Munich and try and work out what on earth I was doing there. So, while I was in Munich, I was actually working on a short film. So this is a set, and it's a short film that I wrote with my co-writer Daniel, who you can see here in his red t-shirt directing away. There he is. So this is just a little snippet of behind the scenes. And while we're in Munich, Daniel took me around to see some of the sights, and this is a well-known surface spot in the middle of Munich. And this is my feet as we walk out of the House of Arts, which is where the big exhibition was held in the 1930s, alongside the Degenerate Art exhibition just in the gardens nearby. And the steps we come out on are where a major speech was held, and you can find that on YouTube. Also quite nice exhibitions these days. That's what I was up to, and yeah, hopefully we'll see the results from that sometime fairly soon. So meanwhile, Ed and Sally went over to the boat, so let's go see what they did.
We are back at the boat. Gellert's come to join us to see the mess I've made. But we are sweeping the floor, getting the rest of these little bits up, taking what we can back, what rubbish was left on the floor, sorting out things so you can actually come and sit in it and we can start planning it, and finishing off getting the rest of these tiles up which were underneath the laminate. And even here you can see where it's just not doing the floor any good. Well, the worst spot is over there. You can just see how bad it's got, just from being trapped by the laminate and it all just kind of rotting underneath it. I mean, this doesn't help, but it's pretty bad in other places where there isn't a hole to the outside of the boat. So it needed doing, but it'll get there.
So that all seems to be going pretty well, and they're pretty busy over there. So time for a bit more travelling. Let's go.
The bridges went underneath. Day was done. Day was done. The birds lost their coats. Those mammoths in those boats. Day was done. Baby squirrel took the oath. The rain crossed their throats. The day was done. The rain took the cold. Come and leave it alone. Hey, leave those owls alone. The cow bent my arms. All those golden years rolled in one. The day was done. 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 Got my tongue.
And that's it, back in the UK. So let's go back to the boat and see what was going on there again.
We've been back clearing the boat, and we've finally taken up the rest of the flooring, and you can just see the bit of mould and rotten floor there that's going to have to be replaced, and the hole for where the shower used to go. But it is looking a lot better. I've brought the engine mount and the brass mushrooms, which I'll show in a minute. But everything's out of the way. The dog's happily sat on the chair, itching his foot or tail, his foot. I think he's chewing his foot. But we have seats that my granddad built, which are really nice. And the boat is now nearly ready to be reconstructed, and just got the bottom, got to get it out and check the welding at the back and get it blacked and get its BSS done, and then I can start putting in a fire here, there. I can start putting in the shower here and the toilet here and the bed there and the kitchen over there and then the living room there, sitting room / dining room there, and redoing the lights because these aren't as good as they should be, and redoing all the electrics because all this electric's coming out for now whilst I get the boat sorted, and all the plumbing's going to be done and the gas and everything.
That's all.
That's all. But yeah, let's go look at these mushroom vents. So I've just brought the mushroom vents up. This is the new mushroom vent. This is the old plastic one that's all cracked and broken and missing screws and needing replacing. But this actually fits on here. It's actually only this big, the hole. But it's going to look a lot cuter. Just put it over there for a little bit more of a comparison. Yeah. I think that looks a lot cuter than that. I think I have two of them. The other one's covered up by the solar panels at the moment, but they're being replaced at some point. Or taken off at least for now, whilst I get it sorted. Got some kind of painting to do on the roof and some filling because it's starting to crack and chip. So that's probably this week when I get time. But yeah, let's see what happens with the boat. That mushroom vent looks really nice.
Well, it's good to see him making use of those bits that he bought the other week. And those mushrooms do look much better on the roof. So we'll have a look at the other ones going on and the rest of the work that he's doing over the next few weeks. So yeah, all good at the boat. So when I landed back in the UK, we didn't come back to the farm straight away. Before that, we went home. So yeah, let's go see. Well, we are back in Wales for a very short time after coming back from Munich, and Sally's playing with the dogs, and I'm stood on a bridge over a stream that the boys have played in since they were very young, and so they always used to come down to this stream and play in the water. So it's a really nice little stream. The tree came down a few years ago over there, but there was like a little dip in for the cattle to drink that we used to go in on. So yeah, it's nice to be back at the stream for a bit, picking some flowers, and back up to the house, which is just beyond those steps. And look at the woodland, and Sally's just got up the hill, so we just walked up there and back up here. So I'll just put the dogs on the lead, and we've got several pictures from years ago when the boys were young of a strange photo shoot we did here. So we'll have a look and see whether we can find them and put them in, and yeah, let's see if we can find them while we carry on up the hill back to the house. And then we came back to the farm, and it was interesting that just being away for a short time, we start to notice the seasons changing. So yeah, let's have a quick catch up there. So lately the remaining swallows have been kind of flying around everywhere, gathering food and congregating on the wires. So quite regularly we have a line of swallow and house martin sat here. There's a young one there, so they're just fledged and yeah, just fattening up, ready for their really long winter flight. Loads of them over there in the sky. So I don't think it's going to be very long before they fly away. So this week we caught up with where I disappeared to last week, and we also managed to go to the boat and have a look at what they were doing over there and clearing up. And we also headed over to Wales to go and have a brief introduction to them. We'll see much more from Wales over the coming months. So yeah, that was it for this week. Next week, I'm not sure what we're doing, but on our way back from Wales, we paid a visit to a friend of ours. So let's go, and I'll see you next week when you join us from the Rabbit's Chair.